Chelsea and I are building our own Sling TSi at the airplane factory in Torrance, California. We're picking up right where we left off in the previous build video. In weeks 4 and 5, we waded into the minutia, installing little components, control columns, building oil hoses, and fabricating fuel lines, which was oddly satisfying. This is week 6 of our Sling TSi build, and it's actually the final week before we leave California to tackle some film projects across the US. And of course, go to Oshkosh. More on that later. It's Monday morning, week 6, day 1, and Casey is walking us through a few little things on the Rotax 916 that we'll be working on this week.
What we're gonna work on today is a couple of things. We're gonna work on the fuel lines, which are gonna come out of the fuel filter, and he just showed us them over there. They have the orange fire sleeve on them. They are basically gonna tee off in a couple of places and ultimately deliver fuel to this side and this side of the engine where the fuel ultimately gets distributed. But it's gonna get teed off, and there are gonna be a couple fuel lines going this way. One of them is gonna be the actual fuel pressure transducer, and then the other one's going to head over to the return side of the engine. And the other thing we're gonna work on is the radiator, mounting, fitment, and hoses. So all the plumbing for the coolant that's gonna go to and from the radiator. That stuff has to get fire shielding, just like these oil lines right here. We're gonna try and make it look as pretty as possible. Fuel lines, heavy gauge battery cables, and radiator coolant lines are what we're primarily gonna work on today. So we'll see how far we get. This is week 6, day 1.
What do you think about this wiring harness?
Oh, it's beautiful. This is what ours is gonna look like pretty much, with some minor differences.
Is this the bracket for the radiator?
Yes, ma'am.
And this is the actual bracket, or just to?
No, I wish.
just to fabricate?
Just to hold the, yeah, exactly.
So we have this shelf that we've been working off of that has our build books and lots of parts, little expensive things that go right here. Everything gets inventoried before we even begin this process. So it's all been, checked, quality control, and accounted for. And then we have these boards that are hardware boards that we're building off of too. They kind of turn it into a little A-frame, and some of the bigger pieces go in between, but it's just really well organized and so beautifully done. If you have any OCD tendencies, it's like music to your ears whenever you see proper lane for whatever it's gonna go with. So this is something that is so unique to the Rotax when it comes to general aviation engines, and that is the radiator. So it is a liquid cooled engine, and it has a jacket that goes over the cylinder heads. But in the case of an emergency, the cylinders still have fins. So it's a combination of a liquid cooled and an air cooled engine. The radiator fluid will run through the cylinder heads, which are an area that you don't want them to be too hot, but you also don't want them to be too cool. And so the radiator does a good job, along with the computer system, on maintaining cylinder head temperature for our engine, and it helps so much with the longevity of Rotax engines. So one of the things that I love so much about experimental aviation is it opens up the markets. So if there's a modification, if there's a change, if there's something we want to do different, we can find products available online. Looks like almost all of them are made in the USA, which is amazing. And I'm looking right now on Summit Racing, which is a very well-known automotive website and supplier. Here's what I'm looking for. Sling, for, I don't know, maybe since the beginning of their build center, has been using this strips of this high temp, which has been trimmed down from a big sheet into these strips, and they're using it to wrap, and then they're going back over this stuff with 0.032 safety wire, and they're building these hoses. I'll show you right over here. What I'm trying to fabricate right now is this heat shielding that's gonna go on this coolant hose, the radiator line, and I'm having just the biggest wrestle with it. There's these little frizzy flyaways everywhere. So I'm thinking there's gotta be something better. There's gotta be a better way. So much innovation is happening, and experimental aviation allows us to make changes and implement stuff that doesn't need an STC or TSO'd or PMA'd parts. You just do what what works and what's right. So this heat shroud, this heat shielding, it has all these different temperature ratings and sizes. So I'm going through here and just looking for something that I think would be perfect for this hose. I know that they have a gold one that I was just looking at on here. Let me show you just an example. I don't know if this is what we're getting, but this one, for example, is good up to 800 degrees. The other one I was looking at was 2,000 degrees. And then I think the one that we'll end up getting is 1,100 degrees Fahrenheit heat rating. So this thing is not going to be seeing 1,000 degrees. Our exhaust temperatures will be over 1,000 degrees for sure, but that's exactly where all the business is happening. And the radiant heat, just for equipment that is around it, you're not going to see temperatures up to 1,000 degrees. So that would absolutely do the job. What is so beautiful about this method rather than this method is that it has a Velcro band here. And if you ever want to remove it or inspect it or anything, it's so easy to remove. Aaron and Emily from Flying Sparks Garage told us we had to check out their stuff. And then my friend Mike Porter, who's always sending me a million ideas, they were both recommending the same stuff. So I think that that's the move that we're gonna have to make on this and go ahead and get it ordered. And hopefully it will get here before the end of the week. So I think that that's the route that we should take for the rest of the hoses that we have to do. I'm gonna talk to Josh and see what he thinks about it, but
I wholeheartedly agree. And Summit Racing, I've ordered stuff from Summit Racing for the pickup truck. That is like a massive work in progress, long story, but it's a great place to get stuff because one, it can be readily shipped from anywhere to anywhere super fast, and two, it's so much cheaper than stuff that's for airplane, and it's better quality most of the time too. We're gonna look at heat ratings, the Velcro. She brought up a really good point. It'd be really nice to be able to peel it back and actually inspect the fittings and the lines and everything instead of this crap being riveted or safety wired on, and it's just,
so the way that we're putting this on is it's just strips. You know, all of these little flyaways, if they're in contact with other stuff, I mean, that's abrasive. This is made out of, I think, some sort of fiberglass. So it can just cut through components if they're sitting there chafing together. Of course, you don't want to have those interference areas, but you know, this is such a silly way to do this. Let's get something that's already nice and prefabricated with Velcro. Are you pulling out the build manuals?
Mm-hmm. Electrical.
Josh not only loves doing electrical projects, he's actually really good at them too. And whenever I was in A&P school, it was the most failed subject was electricity. You take it 3 times. You take it in general, airframe, and power plant. And it was everyone's least favorite subject, including myself. So I'm very grateful. I have a guy here who loves doing electrical projects. He builds wiring diagrams for fun. And every single project that I am not looking forward to doing are probably at the top of his list, and he is so good at them. So I'm so grateful for that.
I like organized wires, good conductors, good terminals. All right, here's some of our heavy gauge battery cables, and they will be color coded. Doing any sort of electrical work, especially making nicely constructed cables, makes me very happy. Step 1, I just made a mental note that this is cable A. I already cauterized this end, lightly melted it so that it won't totally start coming apart. And then you have to kind of like snake it up. You'd be surprised how much this stuff actually stretches. And then I'm gonna stretch it out all the way to the terminal. This is gonna be black, so we're using black heat shrink. I'm gonna get the gold permanent marker, mark right where I wanna cut it. Okay, so I'm taking all the cables that I created right here, and I will take the chafe shielding, and I will thread that onto the cable. It's kind of a little bit of a tedious process. It takes a second to get it all correct. Mark it, trim it, so that it goes the full length of the cable from terminal to terminal, and then I grab the appropriate color of heat shrink tubing, which actually is super nice. It has glue on the inside. This is the same heat shrink tubing I like to buy for our pickup truck project. So I put heat shrink tubing on it, run it over the heat gun right here, and shrink everything down so that it looks like this. You get your ring terminal there with the heat shrink and the chafe shielding going all the way down the length. And I have, looks like 3 more cables to go. So it's kind of like a little assembly line. I'm using a butane torch, very lightly melt the end of it, flame kissed, so that it doesn't start fraying. So the spool stays nice and clean. So 3 more to go. Working on the little assembly line here. And I believe my coffee over there is ready. Nice and neat. So this is the main fuel harness. This is just part of it, but it's gonna go basically right here. And this is all gonna get kind of tied together. And then this comes from the filter and then goes to the fuel rail there. And then that will go to the fuel rail and then to the return. And then this is the fuel pressure transducer that tells the avionics how much fuel pressure we're generating. Building this with the fuel hoses, with all these little ear clamps and everything, and some of them are just really tight to get on. And on top of that, we're putting a fire sleeve over all of it. So this stuff is fire resistant material that goes over the hoses that just protects it from the heat of the engine bay and potential fires. So constructing all of that, Casey has a drawing here. I have everything cut that already has some AN fittings that, like, this goes, I believe, on the filter. This is a shorter one that connects to something else and all that. There's just a bunch of little parts like that. So that's what I'm working on now. And it's almost 3 o'clock, but I would love to get this finished. All right, this guy's the long one. That's the 10.5. So that's gonna go right here. And he said the fire shielding can actually fit over these AN fittings like that. So we can just do that. Make sure we put an ear clamp on that. Do we care how those are clocked?
Yeah, you want them to clock out away from, yeah, exactly.
This is such a cool trick. I've never seen it done, but we're using compressed air. You can probably hear the compressor running in the background. Inflating the fire sleeve to give us a kind of a ballooning effect so that we can slide the fuel hose into it, and it works beautifully. Ready?
Yep, go for it. Makes it super easy to slide on.
Sharpie?
That is the fuel harness. So the whole thing is gonna lay, it's gonna go basically like this. And then that hooks into the filter there, that hooks into the engine right there. This hooks into the engine right there, and that hooks to the fuel return. And then this is the fuel pressure transducer. So all that will get buttoned up, just like that. But I'm gonna lay it on the table and leave it right here overnight.
How was it?
That was a pain in the butt. All right, we've left the airport. We're about 20 minutes from the house, and we've concluded week 6, day 1. This was Monday, and we tackled a couple of tasks today. I kind of started the day, basically my whole morning leading up to lunch was building the heavy gauge battery cables, starter cables, everything firewall forward that carries a lot of electricity. So built all of those, very nicely done. Casey showed me how to do it the neat way. Crimp everything together, put the chafe shielding on it, and then heat shrink tubing that's the correct color, so everything's just easy to see. And then after lunch, what I worked on is putting together the entire fuel harness. Not electrical harness, but the actual plumbing harness for the fuel line. So it's all these high pressure rubber hoses that have a fire shield or a fire sleeve on them. So that's the end of week 6, day 1. And we'll see what's in store for us tomorrow morning at the beginning of day 2.
Is this just in for 100 hour?
Yes. All right, so I just measured where this guy's gonna go. And I actually just noticed something about this airplane. This is one of those PowerWorks USB-C power delivery units. They actually have one of these. It's a different type, but it's from PowerWorks. It says the name right there. I didn't even know that was between the back seats. I noticed it just now. So this is what's gonna power the cameras that are on the ceiling, as well as the cooling fans. And I wanted to figure out exactly where this guy should go before we start drilling holes in ours. This is the TSi we flew to Canada, their demo TSi here. It's in for 100 hour. So I measured, I want the face of this guy to be about 3.5 inches away from the center of the curve, right as it bevels at the windshield. And I want this one to be 26.5 inches from the curve of the ceiling right before the windshield. This guy's gonna go right here, and that's gonna be 2 USB ports to power the camera and cooling fan right there. And then this one will go right about here.
And is that how you're gonna do your camera, with an adhesive?
Yep, that'll just be an adhesive there and an adhesive right here. Those will be simple. And then up here, I wanna have the ability to mount a camera up here, and we'll probably do USB ports behind the panel. Anyways, that's the plan. One right there, 3.5 inches, 26.5 inches. And then we'll drill some holes. And once the holes are drilled, if we ever need to replace one of these housings and we can't find them on Amazon again, we will just have to 3D print them. But that's the beauty of it. We can 3D print our own. It's really uncomfortable sitting in here with no seats, so I'm gonna hop out. All right, I went next door to Builder Bill's hangar. He's over there working on a wing. I got a shot of it. It's like all torn apart. But this is the cabling that we are using for all the camera power supplies. This is 16 gauge shielded cabling, mil spec. So this is aircraft grade stuff. And what we're gonna do, Jean actually helped us feed this sort of like fishing cable up into the ceiling of the airplane. And he marked how far it went and pulled it out, and it is absolutely going all the way to where we need it to go. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this cabling and we're gonna snake it up into here, and it's gonna come out of the ceiling right here. And then we're gonna do another one back here, but that'll be pretty easy. And that's what's gonna power the cameras and the cooling fans that are gonna be up on the ceiling to run all of that stuff. So I really wanna get that done before we leave, because that's sort of the last like one-off custom thing that we need to sort out. The generator system is sorted out, and Heinrich is gonna help us with all that. He's done it before, and he has all the parts for that, so he knows what to do there, more than we do. The camera power supplies and mounting is like the last thing that the designs are in our brains, and once we leave, that'll be too hard to communicate what needs to happen, and then we'll be drilling holes and feeding stuff after paint. So we're not gonna do that. That's what I wanna try to accomplish today before lunch, is to feed the wire up in there, go ahead and reluctantly drill a hole, and just hope that we're not gonna misstep in terms of the positioning of it, which we should be just fine where it is. We've felt around, we've looked with a borescope and everything, and it looks great. So we'll drill a hole for the cabling, get the actual unit positioned, and then drill holes for the nut rivets, and then we're gonna do it a second time on the aft part of the ceiling, but we're not worried about the aft part. There's plenty of clearance back there. It's the skinny part up front is what we're worried about, but it looks like it's gonna work. So we're gonna work on getting this stuff in there today. So I'm just marking where the front of the units are gonna go. It's actually almost dead in line with that.
Here you go.
All right, this is about the smallest the hole can be to feed that through. Here goes nothing.
Are you nervous?
Yeah, I'm nervous. I hate drilling holes in airplanes. Just like that, we punctured a parachute cable.
Woohoo!
Okay. This is just gonna get knotted right there. So leave plenty. All right, now I need to drill the other one for this one, and then spend the rest of the day doing that. Yo, you waited until my torso was in the baggage door of the Sling to call me when I can't get my arm down to my pocket.
Funny.
Happy birthday, Chris.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Thank you. Hi, Chelsea.
Hi, I'm in the plane too.
She's sitting on the wing spar.
Sorry you guys are gonna live.
All right, I hope we're not gonna regret this. Yeah. Thank you. I see it.
Wow, yeah, there it is.
It's not far. It just doesn't have enough stiffness to push through that.
All right, so we're getting ready to install the fuel hose onto the engine. We've checked everything. It all looks really, really good. And I learned a new trick that I had never seen before, where you take shrink wrap or the shrink tube and you stretch it out so that it fits over the fitting and all this stuff. And then you heat it up and it just beautifully tightens right around the end of this, where there's normally some fray action, just some frizziness, and it looks so clean and beautiful. As for this, the stuff that we ordered from Summit is gonna get here, and we're gonna make 3 little boots to go in these areas where we have the T-fittings, but Casey is standing by to install this with me, so I'm not gonna keep him waiting any longer.
Can't wait.
So Josh is inside the plane right now, bouncing around, trying to still pull wires through this area for the cameras, and we are still working firewall forward. I'm just gonna loosely put these on before I tighten.
Yep.
I'm gonna loosely put them on first.
Yeah, sounds good.
So I'm not like, you know, cranking on them in a non-natural. Wow, is that supposed to be just like?
Yeah, where it goes, unfortunately. Got both through. You got them both through? Attaboy. Quiet nurse.
We miss working with Bill. He's the best. A lot of my days are spent over here next to the build process that's going on, and then jumping in and out when there's an opportunity for a 2-person job or when I can lend a hand. So today I did heat shrink on these fluid lines, so our fuel system is on and secure. A couple of changes that we made to this Sling TSi for our fuel system. Certain engines are susceptible, more susceptible than others, to what is called vapor lock. We don't deal with vapor lock in our old carbureted, gravity-fed Cessna engines that we're so used to flying behind. But vapor lock is something that you do have to combat with these fuel-injected engines, and especially when you're burning car gas or unleaded gasoline. I think we'll do a little bit of a deep dive on the fuel system tomorrow, and tomorrow is a really, really exciting day. We're gonna roll this plane out of its space here in this build hangar. It's gonna see sunshine out on the ramp, and we're gonna spend the better part of tomorrow making this thing look like a real airplane.
Is the high wing back in service?
Looks like it. This is such a busy airport, and Sling keeps the ramp so active and hot. Constantly students coming in and out. You can just see smiles on so many faces as, you know, they're checking boxes on their next accomplishment on their pilot journey. The mechanics are constantly getting these planes turned around. I got to talk to a few of them, and they are very knowledgeable. So we are cruising through our ramp to our exit gate again this afternoon.
It is week 6, day 3. Super foggy morning here in Torrance, California. And today's gonna be a little bit more unique on the build because today we're actually pulling the plane out. It's not quite gonna see sunshine like we said it would yesterday, at least not this morning, but we're gonna pull it out of the hangar and mate the wings and the empennage to the fuselage for the first time ever. And it's gonna actually look like an airplane today. And the reason we're doing that is so that the team here, and of course us too, we're gonna fit the fairings onto the wing roots and around the empennage and everything and mark where all the holes need to be, cleco all of that stuff in place. And then at the end of the day, we have to disassemble it all and the fuselage has to go back into the hangar. So it is going to be a full day, which is why we're getting here about 2 hours earlier than we normally do. They've already got the hangar open. We're gonna set up a couple cameras to really capture this as effectively as we can. And then we're gonna roll the fuselage out right here. They're getting ready for us.
Yeah, take this thing around 180 it so the nose is back toward us unless you think it should go.
All right, the airplane is officially out of the hangar for the first time since it came off the crate. So what they're gonna do now, and we're gonna help them, we're gonna roll the wings over here. So the wings are on those jigs that are sort of on little dollies. So we're gonna roll those over here and then we're gonna mate the wings to the fuselage and we're going to build the empennage onto the tail of the airplane. You can see that big fiberglass fairing is already up there. So what they're doing today, the big task for today that they said is gonna take all day is match drill all the holes on the fiberglass fairings. After everything fits, every airplane is slightly different, so this stuff can't usually come pre-drilled. So they fit all of the major pieces of the airframe on and match drill all the holes for the fiberglass fairings, and that's what's happening today. So today, this thing is gonna look like a real airplane, wings, tail, fairings, and everything. And then we have to completely disassemble it and put it right back where it was before closing time at 3:30 today. So it's gonna be a long day, but we're just getting started.
I was looking through the viewfinder, watching the wings roll over, and the plane was on the ramp, and it's kind of like a foggy, moody morning. And it was like I was watching the best movie, the best dream that I've ever had happen through the viewfinder, and we're living it right now. It is really surreal to have spent this time here with these people and have, you know, gotten to play such a big part of this build. And then now it's like this huge moment when the wings meet the fuselage for the first time. We're gonna close these gaps and fit check everything, and it's gonna feel like a real airplane. Like it's actually happening.
All right, so what's happening now is he is unbolting basically this big spacer that's gonna come right out of where the spar will go. So that's a placeholder, holds the space, holds everything in alignment for the wing spar to actually mate up to the fuselage right there. So he's taking the bolts out to pull these, to pull the placeholders out that are right in here. This is a big deal.
I'm so excited. This is unreal.
It is.
It's Bill.
Good morning, America.
All right, guide me, where is this gonna go?
Okay, that's gonna go inside here. There we go. So slide that down. Slide that down. There we go. Clecos.
Got that pickle pliers?
Yeah.
There's the coconut oil.
Yeah, I know exactly. I might go from the inside out actually. See if I can get
It's one of the things that makes this airplane fly so nicely, and it's a big characteristic that we tactilely fell in love with the airplane when we were flying it across country, is the fact that all the controls are actuated by push-pull tubes, not necessarily cables. So in Cessnas, you know, the cables are making all these bends and pulleys and everything. The way this airplane is designed allows for push-pull tubes to go all the way through the major flight surfaces all the way to the control surfaces, and right here we'll have the elevator and rudder. I will point out though, we do have cables for the rudder. So because it's tied directly into the nose gear and lots of little design factors, I'm no engineer, but just from the surface level of knowledge that I have, cables are the way to go when it comes to the rudder control. So these are actually going to get little 3D printed, kind of like a bushing, serves the same purpose as a bushing, but it's going to be a guide to prevent the cables from wearing out the metal right there. So it'll be a nice like carbon fiber infused 3D printed piece of material there that's going to get riveted on there. That will control the rudder, and then we will have an elevator control coming right through here, and there will be the elevator horn with the counterweight up there and everything, and then the rudder will be right here. These are the flaps. This is the flap tube that turns the flaps, so it's not cable driven. That's a tube, and then this pushes and pulls the aileron bell crank. Elevator's gonna have something very similar. All the linkages for the control columns are just the same type of tube that's turned in. No turnbuckles, no tensioning of cables. It's all just controlled with push-pull tubes, which makes the airplane just very responsive. And you just move the stick a tiny bit, and it's instant response. It's not kind of the lag of tension, tugging, and pulling of cables, and then stretching over time, of course. It's one of the big reasons we fell in love with this airplane. It flies so well with this design.
You can just make a line right along the edge of the...
Oh, a line, okay.
That's it.
Okay.
That's the first one?
That'll be your first one right there.
And you're confident in that? Okay.
So are we marking, drilling, and clecoing as we go?
I would say mark first.
Okay.
And then once you're comfortable with everything and everything looks pretty good, then we start drilling and cleaning.
Got it.
He's gonna triple check our work
Yeah.
before any drills come out.
Make sure that's pushed up against there. We're gonna get a center line here. Mark that, and then we can go 15 millimeters back. Try to line that up on that guy. And then we'll drop back to a 10 millimeter clearance. So we're marking all holes first, and then once everything's marked, we will actually start drilling. Okay, I got a couple holes here. I need to mark one more down here, but there's a hole here, and hole, a hole, 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 and two holes. And then I'm about to do the other side. So these are marked 10 millimeters away from the edge, which is what Winston was telling us is the go-to. And then these are all measured to spec according to the manual, and the manual calls out, make sure that your measurement's not gonna make a hole fall right on a rib, because you obviously don't wanna drill right into the rib or anything like that. So all of these are marked, and they'll be ready to be drilled once I mark the rest of them. There are no holes in the fuselage for this already, so we're gonna be drilling these holes from scratch. That being said, it's not super crucial that like the fairing is in the exact same place when I'm marking them. You mainly want it in place to make sure that you're kind of lining it up with certain rivet lines that it calls out as best as you can. Make sure you're not gonna hit any ribs while you're marking them and all that kind of stuff. And then later on you can go back and drill. So I'm gonna hop to the other side and continue. Now from there, 130.
Just direct?
That's what I did, yeah. Because that's gonna put it just north of this rib. Yeah.
Walk it back into place.
Go the other way?
Yeah. Then
Okay.
once you feel it go through the composite, then you just make sure you're straight on, and then it should go right through.
Cool, cool.
Yeah.
First one.
Airplane's totaled.
If we have time, we can just come back to this.
Okay, yeah, sounds good.
We're gonna put 2 bolts.
The 2 bigger ones?
Yeah, so 2 on each side.
Okay,
We'll take these. These go out here.
okay.
You're gonna just put 1 on this upper spar and then 1 on the lower spar.
Okay.
Clear? Guys, you can drive it in a bit.
Oh, hold on, it's pushing. Okay, this hard line is hitting the skin and there's nowhere for it to
Pull it
go.
out. I can come out just a little bit. That's good. Starting to look like an airplane today.
More robust. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's coming over to start an argument.
This is Carlos, master painter. The artist here, who makes all of these airplanes look even more beautiful than they look Aladdin.
We've been popping our head in several times a week to say hey to him and see what he's working on, watching the planes come through and then come back out looking very beautiful.
And he's handing us some colors here, so we're gonna look at colors. They lined up.
Okay, can you... Oh, stop right there. Perfect. Woo! It is warm. Am I ready to start light? Can I?
Yeah.
Okay. Out, yep, right there. And then it needs to raise. Oh, perfect.
All right, now give it some rocking.
The first one was too easy. Woo!
What a huge milestone. It looks like an airplane. The wings of our Sling TSi have been mounted to the fuselage, and the empennage is also right here on the back of the fuselage. We've already drilled the holes and clecoed the fairing in place. We're about to do that same process that I understand takes a little bit longer, it's a little more tedious, for the fairings that go on the wing roots right here. And Chelsea was inside the cabin banging in the wing bolts, kind of hard work, hunched over with the help of the guys, and we sort of held up the wings and braced them and everything, but they are on. And at this point, the next step is gonna be to put the wing root fairings on, and we're gonna start lining it up. We're gonna start marking some holes. We're gonna start drilling holes, putting clecos in one at a time, get everything nicely lined up. And once those fairings are totally drilled, match drilled, and fitted with clecos, then we undo everything we just did. We take everything back apart, and the fuselage and wings and everything have to go back in the hangar by the end of the day. It's so amazing and exciting to see this airplane actually coming together in its final form. Just a glimpse of it today. The fuselage, the empennage, and the wings have all been mated, and it looks beautiful. This is our Sling TSi.
Whew, catching my breath. That was quite the workout. You know, it sounds so simple. We're just putting 2 bolts in 2 areas, but it's a really tight tolerance. And then this portion of the build is of course the whole thing is a big team effort, but that part in particular, it was all hands on deck, everyone from the shop. You're trying to do a teetering motion and get everything just perfectly aligned. So it was really fun seeing everyone who's really worked on the project thus far come back to the plane and then mate the wings to the fuselage. So, oh my gosh, it's an airplane.
Oh, right here.
Yeah, so right now you have 4 holes drilled,
Yeah,
but the one to your left, we need to drill that one out.
okay.
That's it.
I don't know why. I don't know if it helps me or not, but I always seem to abandon the creeper. Like every time I'm working on a vehicle or something like that, it's like, it's there, it's ready for me to use, and I just freaking quit using it. Okay.
All right.
140. And then after that, it's 110.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Oh yeah, that's good.
Cool.
This one's better. It does hit the landing gear ever so slightly. Like adding.
There it goes. All right. All right, got all the wing root fairings on. Top and bottom have been drilled, fitted, and clecoed. And this morning, the first thing we worked on was the empennage fairing right here. We got all that drilled, match drilled for a riv nut there. All of this is gonna get drilled out for riv nuts. So everything holding these cosmetic fairings on, including down here on the wing root, these are all gonna be screws. So it's gonna be riv nuts holding it all together. So we got all of that secured on, and now that we did all of that hard work today, we gotta rip it all apart. It is week 6, day 4 here on a bright sunny morning. It's getting nice and warm and our TSi is back out on the ramp. We actually ended up not taking the wings off yesterday. We were a little bit behind on all of the tasks with fitting these fairings and everything. So they actually rearranged a couple of airplanes in there and we were able to stick the TSi into the hangar with the wings still on it. So the empennage fairing is still on. We need to drill out a bunch of those holes and get everything set up there to squeeze riv nuts into those holes. So that's probably gonna take a better part of today to get all of that stuff complete. Is I'm gonna route some new wires through the ceiling, up through the ceiling of the TSi. That's going to be a 6-conductor shielded cable that's gonna pass through the factory grommets and all the same holes in the channel up to the ceiling of the airplane. Now we need 6 conductors because we need 2 independent grounds, one for the camera system and one for the lighting system. And then we need 3 conductors for the different lights that are gonna be on the ceiling of the airplane. And then we need 1 single conductor for the camera power supplies. So in total, that's 6 conductors. I had to specially order some mil-spec cabling for that purpose and it arrived yesterday. I paid for overnight shipping so it would get here in time for me to do this today. So running wires is what I'm gonna be working on today. Also today is take your dog to work day. So Millie's gonna hang out with Chelsea all day while I button up some cabling and stuff inside the airplane and start to wrap up our first day here in Torrance, California, working on our Sling TSi at the airplane factory right here across from Sling Pilot Academy. I'm gonna pull this 6-conductor cable through those grommets all the way up to come out right here. And then I'm gonna snip some shorter pieces to feed it through this guy and all that kind of stuff. This should be not too hard to get this guy through here. It's gotta make a little bit of an awkward turn right there. Okay, that's done. Now that we have 6 conductors going through the fuselage there, I'm gonna cut this up. We only need 2 coming up here. We need 2 coming out here. We need 3 coming out here and here. And then we need 2 coming out back here. I should really talk to Moises about this. Okay, what I need to do is I need to get some single conductor wire and they have spools of it next door. I'm gonna grab the correct gauge wire of the correct colors and I'm gonna measure it first and see what kind of length I need and then add quite a bit of buffer so that we can coil up service loops on either side. And I'm gonna start running some of these single conductor wires through these holes where it will actually split out from that 6-conductor cable and spread out to the rest of the canopy for the lights and the camera power supplies all over the place. So I'm gonna go next door, grab some wires and I'll be right back. And this is what everything looks like. 6-conductor cable for the dome lights, floodlights, camera power. This is for floodlights, and if I kind of tug on that, you can see I'm moving this one right here. So that's where all the floodlight cables come out, and then they bridge over to the other side where the second set of floodlights are gonna be. This is camera power aft, so there's gonna be a little camera power supply right there, very subtle. And then there's camera power forward. There's gonna be a camera power supply right there. It's gonna take up that space right there. So everything is nestled really, really nicely and nice and labeled. And there will be 2 dome lights right back here. There's 1 dome light, and then here's the wire that bridges that gap. And all of that will come into this 6-conductor shielded cable that goes all the way through there, down the pillar, and there it is going through the grommets. And then it will come down here and meet the main wiring harness, basically roughly under the back seat. This is the back seat area, and I am sitting on the wing spar, and this is the gear carry through. So these are 2 very stout pieces of the airframe. If you're gonna put all your weight on one thing, definitely the wing spar is the way to go. And it's sitting in this airplane with actually the wings mounted on. And the crew's actually down there refitting some stuff on the fairings right here and everything. So I believe this job is done. I finally have wires routed and everything labeled accordingly for all of these lights. Very, very good. Very, very happy with that. This deburring tool just scrapes the little shavings right off the edge of the hole to make it nice and smooth, no sharp edges sticking up. Gotta hold your mouth just right to get the correct pressure. Done. Alright, here's the entire empennage fairing. Start drilling these holes to size. Overall, I'd call that a victory. Empennage fairing fits very, very nicely, and every screw went in relatively effortlessly. But this empennage fairing looks fantastic. All right, I'm cleaning up, and we are actually going to call it a little bit of an early day. Got that empennage fairing completed, and Winston and the whole crew here, they're gonna actually take the wings off and probably not put the TSi back here. They're gonna put our TSi right there up front. I feel like it was a really good day here at working. Chelsea's actually behind the hangar here hanging out with Millie. She's been such a good dog today. Oh my gosh, she's been just an angel. She's off leash, she's just hanging out. Really impressive for this little puppy who has so much energy. But I feel like today was a day of wins. I'm just taking all of our nice, expensive shielded cabling, and I'm putting it all in a box, and this is gonna go in our locker so that it doesn't get snagged for another project, because we are likely gonna need this stuff again later. Then we'll go to dinner with Matt and John tonight. We'll come back tomorrow. We're actually gonna do quite a bit of flying tomorrow, and some Sling 2s, actually, the little trainers that Sling Pilot Academy has here. So we'll get to do some actual flying with the guys here at Sling Pilot Academy. We'll have a little meeting about the TSi, what needs to happen while we're gone, and we'll be going back home tomorrow evening to do our final packing, and then we're hitting the road Saturday morning, leaving California, heading back to Kentucky to take care of some obligations, go on a couple trips, and then Oshkosh before we come back here to continue building our Sling TSi at the airplane factory here in Torrance, California.
It is our last morning badging in here at the Torrance airport. But today we're not going to work on the planes. Josh and I actually have the opportunity to go out and fly some of the Sling 2 LSA aircraft, which are production built Sling aircraft. We've heard wonderful things about them, and we're so excited. People are referring to them as the Mazda Miata of airplanes, that they're just really, they're not like race cars, but they are peppy. They're super controllable and just dialed in. We're gonna go out and do some interesting flying with some of their instructors today.
Like she said, we kind of got to a stopping point with everything that we wanted to do. I ran all the wires for the camera power supplies. So today we're gonna go try out the actual Sling Pilot Academy airplanes that do all of the training, 0 to hero, sport through CFI and all that kind of stuff. So we're gonna go fly. I'm actually gonna check off some recency of experience stuff for my logbook, and I get to do that with a CFI from Sling Pilot Academy and in one of their airplanes too. And then she's gonna go fly with another CFI. So it's gonna be fun. We're actually gonna get off the ground today.
That was a good trial for the rudders too.
Yeah, we have a handbrake, so
I know.
no toe brakes. I find easier.
So I'm 5 foot and you're 6'1", and I feel like I fit in here perfectly. And you don't look like you're
too much space.
Yeah.
All right, I am sitting in one of the Sling 2s here at Sling Pilot Academy. I'm waiting for my instructor, Brett, to get back with the fuel truck. He just put some gas in the airplane, and he's gonna walk me through a pre-flight on one of these little Sling 2s. So this is actually one of the Sling Pilot Academy airplanes. This is what, when you learn how to fly at Sling Pilot Academy, this is what you learn how to fly in. All the way through private, you do your instrument rating with this nice Garmin G3X panel. You do your commercial, you do your CFI, you do your CFII, and then they have some twin engine engine technams that they do multi-engine instruction in here, they have so many of these little Sling 2s just operating. I mean, you hear Rotax engines firing up, taxiing out, taking off and everything. The weather is clearing up really nicely. It's clear skies all around me, except for the direction that we need to go, which is out toward the practice area and actually toward the Port of Los Angeles out to sea out there. That's the practice area that we're gonna go toward. And in fact, it looks like they just switched flows. There goes the Sling Pilot Academy airplane right there. And I can't imagine what it would have been like to train in one of these, like as a private pilot stepping through all the training in one of these airplanes. It's so modern with all of these beautiful avionics. Everything's so well organized and everything is standard. No matter which plane you're flying here at Sling Pilot Academy, everything is very well standardized. We're gonna go up, have some fun in a Sling 2. Chelsea's already in the airplane. They're probably getting ready to take off now, and we're gonna do a pre-flight and get ready to go up and do a bunch of maneuvers and really just have fun with this little airplane.
Talk about a nice day.
Yeah, seriously.
This will be fun.
Man, I feel like every day we've been here though has been nice.
So I know you're comfortable in a Sling, but you haven't been in a 2. So I'm just going to be close to the controls on takeoff. This will just be a normal takeoff. We rotate at 55. We're pitching for 72.
Okay.
And we're on with power.
All right. Torrance Tower, Sling 970, Charlie Foxtrot, holding short of 11 left at Bravo, ready for VFR departure, left 270.
Sling 5 Lane Bravo, wind 1309 is shuttle departure approved, running 29 left, clear for takeoff.
29 left, clear for takeoff, 965 Lane Bravo, thanks.
All right, final looks clear. We are confirmed 29 left, and we are clear for straight out departure. All looks good to you?
All looks good to me. First time in a 2.
First time in a 2, man.
Go have some fun.
Heck yeah. I love the visibility out of these things.
I know, it's great.
It's just,
you know, you're number 6 holding short, being able
Flying
to...
0 Charlie Foxtrot, left 270 approved, runway 11 left, clear for takeoff.
all right, left 270, 11 left, clear for takeoff, 970, Charlie Foxtrot.
All right, clear my way.
All right, we look clear on the runway, Sling on the departure.
Sweet.
Ready?
We're on our heading. Let her go.
Sling 1 single Delta for
All right,
exchange
we're
approved.
making rated. Everything is still in the green.
You feel good?
Looks good to me.
All right, let's go.
Airspeed's alive. Got 55. Lift her off whenever you're ready. Woo! And we're gonna pitch for 72 for our best rate of climb.
Oh my gosh.
Takeoff power set. Airspeed's alive. There's 50. There's 55. Let's start to fly the nose. We're already airborne.
Sling 4 Sierra Lima, runway 11 left, clear for the options.
11 left, clear to land at 864 Sierra Lima.
All right.
A beautiful takeoff.
Sweet.
All right. Well, we have all this area over here
Oh my gosh.
to do whatever we like. So do you want to do some maneuvers? We'll just
Sure,
do.
yeah.
All right. It's your controls.
My controls.
All right. Bring us up to 3-5.
Okay.
We could start off with some steep turns, maybe.
Perfect.
Okay. And let's configure to 91 knots and straight and level, however you need to get there.
Yeah, this seems like such an awesome airport to be based at.
It's great.
Sling 4 Sierra Lima, turn right.
Home sweet home.
Home sweet home, man.
Above ground,
Not a bad place. Yeah, this is a sweet little plane.
They're fun. They're sporty.
It is sporty.
Sling 5 to 2 Alpha November.
So our practice area is really just kind of this 8,000 shelf right here, right below the Bravo. We can go out to this area, which is 5,000 if you want to stay lower, you know, 35, 4,000.
Good with right out here.
Yeah, right here is where I like to stay. So this is between Point Vicente, which would be off your right-hand side, and Point Furman off your left. Cool. So we've got up till 8,000 for anything we want to do. 4,500 is kind of where I like to sit. Cool. Practice area, Sling 965 Lima Bravo, 2 miles south of Point Vicente, 3,600 steep turns.
These things are so much more zippy than.
I know, wait till you bank. Let's see it.
All right.
Let's see what you remember.
We're gonna go to the left first.
Okay,
31.
pitch back a bit. All right, stay coordinated with the rudders. Okay, climbing a bit. You can hear the RPM change a little bit.
Yeah.
You can bank just a little more to hit that 45, a little more, right about there. Excellent, that's the sight picture in this thing.
Wow.
Climbing just a little bit. Okay, there was our heading, but let's keep going to the left.
Oh, sorry. I was so amazed by
okay. Pitch
the
down.
way this thing is turning.
So I guess even though you're in a light sport airplane, but you're a, say, private pilot with an instrument rating, can you fly one of these airplanes IFR so long as you have the right equipment? Because y'all do instrument training in these.
We do.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we aren't allowed to go into IMC, but we can file IFR.
Okay.
So we do the whole instrument rating in this aircraft, simulated instrument, but we can still file IFR. So when we're working on the instrument PIC cross-country time building, we like to pick up tech routes, file FRs, so they have the experience with that.
Yeah.
And then just do it simulated instrument.
Interesting. So this airplane can't go into IMC?
It can't.
Okay, because it's light sport.
Yes.
Now, what if this airplane were just experimental?
Then I believe it can go into IMC. Yeah, because there are Sling 2s, customer planes, that are allowed to go into IMC.
Okay.
So,
yeah, because like if we build one of these, we would for sure want it to be IFR capable.
yeah, absolutely. Wouldn't want to limit yourself like that.
Okay.
All right, want to try one to the right?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's go.
And then heading is now set.
Okay, climbing. Very different sight picture.
Wow.
Everyone always climbs to the opposite side, so that's what you're doing right now. Pitch it down right about there. Now we're descending right there. Hold that. Memorize it. Pitch down slightly. Whee! Nice.
Bit better.
Yeah.
I was not just getting lost in the... This is so awesome.
I know. BB practice Sling 0 Charlie Foxtrot, 2 miles south of the Horseshoe, 4,500 southbound maneuvers, BB. Why don't we start with some 30-degree bank turns just to get comfortable in the aircraft?
Yeah, sounds good, sounds good. All right, our speed's at about 93. We're about at 4,900-ish. I can give it just a touch more power, but let's do some turns. We're clear to the right. Get a feel for my sight picture here in this airplane. Give it a little bit of nose up there to counteract that loss of vertical component of lift. Bring it back to 30. Getting a little carried away there. I think we hit 35.
Almost private standards.
Yeah, right. Can't even see Catalina.
I know, under that layer out there.
It's buried.
I like how you're flying it too. Something I notice with a lot of new students, especially people that transfer from a heavier aircraft to 172, is they've got kind of a death grip on the stick, and that's just not necessary.
Yeah.
You can do commercial steep turns in this thing, holding it with 3 fingers.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to do. Need a little more nose up trim in the turns there, but cool. You want to just do some steep turns? We can roll right into steep turns?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it.
Okay. I'll do one to the left first. Look it over your shoulder over there.
Looks clear.
Okay. All right, we'll just maintain 4,500. I'm going to give it a scotch of power.
Okay.
We roll into it here. Eyes outside. I'm trying to really get a feel for like where the cowling needs to be.
Yeah. So if you're looking on your side, you kind of have that bump in the cow.
Yeah.
If that is slicing through the horizon,
nice.
That would keep us level.
Sweet.
Perfect. That looked great. 4,500. Maybe 5 knots off our airspeed.
Cool.
You want to do a steep turn, like a commercial standard one?
Sure.
50, 55?
Sure.
All right.
Do you want to show me one?
All right. I'll admit I'll probably be a little bit rusty.
We'll see your AC
But let's see.
standards.
Let's
okay.
see.
Your controls?
My controls. Bank, rotor. Right about there.
Feels very
A
coordinated.
little bit of G's. There we go. And where's my heading bug?
Going up on
Somewhere
it
around
now.
there. Woo!
Oh yeah. And rolling right into the next one.
Okay, oop, a little uncoordinated.
I feel more G's on this side.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I
than when we were
noticed
going the other way. I didn't feel it nearly as much.
This thing. Oop, missed it. Usually I got a visual reference point somewhere.
Oh yeah. Very cool.
Best glide speed is pretty easy to remember because it's the same thing as our VY. 72.
Okay.
1 to 10 glide ratio. So every 1,000 feet we can go 10,000. 6,000 feet we can go 10 nautical miles.
One thing I do want to play with real quick.
Sure.
I'm going to pull the power back just a little bit here. Do y'all ever do with students, the rudder coordination rolls? Like the little, like rocking your wings back and forth to demonstrate asymmetrical.
Like Dutch rolls?
Kind of, yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I wanted to feel what it's like in this airplane.
Absolutely.
And see what it's like. I'm going to keep my feet off the rudder here first. I just want to see. I got a jet straight out there. Oh yeah, we're getting some swings. Actually, that's more aggressive than the Cessna. Dang. All right, now I'm going to do it with rudder. Nice. Snappy. Cool.
Yeah, the difference between coordinated and uncoordinated is just, swings. It does. And they start to actually kind of build on themselves.
Right.
But yeah, very snappy with the push rods. All right, we'll pick up the ATIS and cruise back in for a couple laps in the pattern. Cool. Torrance Tower, Sling 965, Leo Bravo, over PV point. Like to come inbound, full stop. We have Echo.
Sling 965, Leo Bravo, Torrance Tower, answer right base, ready run 1 right, clear to land, wind 1107.
Right base to 11 right, 965, Leo Bravo, thank you.
Sling 5, Leo Bravo, just verify runway 11 right, clear to land.
Runway 11 right, clear to land. We're going to make that right base, 965 Lima Bravo.
Traffic that follows off your right, basing 1000 indicated Sling report in sight.
Insight, 0 Charlie Fox.
Sling 0 Charlie Fox. Maneuver to follow your number 2, runway 11 left, clear for the option, wind 0407.
All right, 11 left, clear for the option. Behind the traffic, we'll keep them inside in the turn, 0 Charlie Fox. And we're actually going to have, there's not going to be a rotary switch for the flaps on the panel. The flaps will be a momentary toggle switch on each stick.
I've heard of people doing that.
Yeah.
That'll be so nice.
Yeah, so it's just like, boop, bump another notch of flaps in, all good.
Don't have to reach for anything, hand stays on the throttle.
Exactly.
That'll be so nice.
So I, and like coach me on this because it's a new airplane to me, I like to really wait for flaps until we get a little bit closer.
Yeah.
But this thing glides a hell of a lot better than I'm used to, so.
Yeah, I'd say like a 3 mile final, put in flaps 1.
Okay.
Flaps 2, kind of towards the end of the buildings, and then full flaps once over the grass.
Reduce speed, 0 Charlie Fox. All right,
Start working them in out here.
Yeah, that answers my question. We're about a 3 mile final anyways. Yep. All right, inside 85, let's go ahead. Pull some flaps in, and let's go flaps 2. I like it.
The speeds we're looking for is about 75 out here, okay, on a shorter final. Over the grass, we're looking for like 72. Over the numbers, 65.
Okay. Good for the option is what they said.
Oh yeah, no, we'll make it a full stop.
Okay. Tower Cessna 2060 uniform, holding short 11 left, with information Foxtrot, requesting straight out departure.
Cessna 206 uniform, Torrance Tower, hold short, runway 11 left.
Let's go flaps 3.
Looks great.
Hold short 11 left, 60 uniform.
All right, power is all the way out. We're just doing a normal landing. Bring it into the flare, save it there a little bit.
Oh, nice.
A little sink there at the end.
Little sink.
I felt it starting to stall out.
Once we're done with our base, we're going to be on a, I don't know, 4 mile final, something like that. Once we get on final, we can start slowing it down just a tad.
Yeah. Oh, we're not.
Below 85, yep.
2-3 Foxtrot, may I have company in sight?
Sling 3 Fox Romeo, that company has you in sight, navigation or correction southeast turn.
Don't forget to use that trim.
Southeast line correction, 3 Fox Romeo.
Makes it a bit easier.
500.
Torrance Tower, Sling 63800.
Burn off some of that speed by pitching
midfield
up a
outer
bit.
above 1600, 11 right.
Sling 630, Torrance Tower,
throttle is needed.
Correction, previously issued instructions make right traffic going 11 right.
And we usually
Sling
land
right
with
traffic,
flaps
11
3.
right. Sling 630.
Oh, and they're down. Okay. A little bit of power. I want to have a pretty significant nose down attitude, so power,
Torrance
power,
anyone
power.
uniform, traffic
And
is now short
then-
final, the Sling to the south runway.
Inside, A1.
There we go.
Torrance anyone uniform, maintain visual
Fire
separation upon landing inbound to Sunnyside approved.
Inbound A1 uniform.
Okay. Do you want to do the power off 180 on this one?
Let's do it. Do you want to do 1 or 2 more laps?
Oh, I'm good with whatever. I don't know if you wanted to do a short field or
Yeah, I mean,
you call the ball. That's up to
let's
you.
do a short approach on this one. We'll see how it goes, and if it's a comfortable landing, we'll take it back. If you want to do 1 more and get more comfortable, then we'll do 1 more lap of the pattern and make it a soft field.
Sounds great. All right. Company traffic in sight. Where do you like to? You want to aim for the 1,000-foot markers?
Let's go for how about the 500?
We can do the 500.
We'll do that. So we'll drop the power at the point and try to land on the point.
All right. I'm going to probably grossly overshoot this. We'll see how this
We
goes.
got plenty of it.
All right, we look good here.
Let's do it.
Power to idle.
Great.
All right, parking brakes off.
Sling 6 Tango Sierra, turn right at hotel, contact ground.
Pitch for
over ground,
72.
thank you.
Yep. You said that's best glide, right?
72.
Okay. All right. Oh, holy crap! This plane's not even the best glide yet. There we go.
Sling 0 Charlie Foxtrot, traffic in the right downwind, midfield, Cherokee 1100 indicated for the south runway.
0 Charlie Foxtrot.
I'll be looking for him.
Okay.
I like to make a guaranteed landing, and then I start adding flaps and trim and slip if necessary.
Cool. Let's do it. All right, and if I remember correctly, CFI standards is plus 200 minus 0.
Yeah.
I think.
This looks great where you're at.
Almost feel like we're going to come up a little short.
I was thinking a little bit.
Let's see how this goes. Okay, we're starting to lose that sync just a little bit. We're cleared. We're good.
Home 72.
We're getting the sync again.
Where'd our headwind go?
I know.
Hand on the throttle just in case.
Oh yeah, ready to go.
Great. Alright. Now we've made a guaranteed landing.
Alright. Let's go flaps 1.
I like it.
Let's go flaps 2. Full flaps.
Great. Airspeed looks perfect.
Alright.
Little left rudder.
Oop, balloon. Took up about 500 feet there, but that's okay.
That was good. We should have just stuck with the 1,000 footers because you landed right on them.
Dude, this airplane freaking glides.
Yeah. Isn't that
Whoa.
crazy?
Wow.
That was good. That was a great landing. Good recovery when you ballooned up there. I mean, that's exactly what you should be doing. All right? Just hold it and let it sink back down.
Cool.
That was good.
Cool. I was shocked at how easily the TSI swings around.
Sweet, man.
That was sick, dude.
I
That was so
appreciate
fun.
it. I appreciate
Good work. Great flying.
It's an excellent plane. You're an excellent instructor.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
Knocked some rust off from myself.
Yep. Comfy in the Sling too.
Heck yeah. It's a sweet plane. I'm telling you, Chelsea's gonna be like, oh my God, I'll order a kit.
What'd you think of the Sling 2?
Oh, I want one of these too. It's a very zippy little responsive airplane. And they're so cool looking too. They're just, it flew great. I love doing maneuvers in it. It was incredibly responsive and yeah, I loved it. I loved flying it. Great little airplane. What'd you think of it?
I had the best time. My instructor was really amazing. He actually reminded me of your brother-in-law, Spence. Just the best personality. He was a blast to fly with. We had a ton of fun, and you could tell he was totally embracing instructor life and totally leaning into it. And he said instructing at Sling was like one of the funnest things he's ever done. And he's really enjoying the Sling Pilot Academy. So it was fun kind of stepping out of the build center, stepping into being a student pilot here in one of these Sling 2s, the light sport aircraft. The way these planes are designed, the responsiveness was as expected. I knew that it was gonna fly like a dream, but it exceeded that. We have a puppy to go home to and take out and enjoy our last sunset. We have a lot of laundry to do and a lot to pack up, but today was amazing. It was a good note to end on as we begin our drive back east to Chicago first and then back to Kentucky.
I think this is my 20th trip down the stairs.
Millie, we're packing up, puppy.
Your bed's in the car with all your treats.
It's been a long 7 weeks staying in California, but it's time to pack up and start the long drive east to fulfill some other obligations this summer. But first, one more dog park run overlooking the Pacific. Lots of naps for Millie and lots of in-car editing for me through moody weather in Utah and Colorado. We cut across the Great Plains to arrive in Chicago to film a project here, have a schwanky dinner date to close out this chapter of our 2025 story, and make the final push home. This is a wrap on what we'll call Act 1 of our Sling TSi build, and I'd say we're not quite halfway through. After AirVenture 2025, we're planning to come back to California for another long stay, and at that point, we'll plan to be there until the plane is finished. We appreciate you following this journey alongside us, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this build, the content that comes with it, and anything you'd like to see more of in Act 2 of our Sling TSi build. Meanwhile, in the next video, I'm going to visit Midwest Panel Builders and Midwest Sky Sports up in Michigan. They are currently building our instrument panel and wiring harness for the Sling TSi, and you'll see firsthand where a lot of our inspiration for our panel came from. And there's one major thing I've grown to appreciate about these guys in the time working with them. And we'll dive into all of that in the next video. Be sure to give this video a like if you did, subscribe if you haven't, and ring that notification bell so you don't miss that next episode. Until then, you know the drill. I want you to stay happy and healthy, stay current in your flying, but most importantly, stay proficient. We'll see you in the next video right here on Aviation 101. Fly safe.